You bought ThriveCart for your checkout, and now you have a free course builder? Free 99 sounds awfully good, but sometimes free isn't better. I'm Dr. Catrina Mitchum, and I've been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. So I am going to be taking my brainstorming lessons, the lesson I'm running through every platform in this series, and trying to put it into the ThriveCart Learn Plus space. It is a brain dump exercise where students have a couple of videos to watch. They do a timed 20-minute writing activity and they have to choose a path, that will tell them which questions to answer in the writing activity. And I am going to start with just how easy it is. So let's go see what ThriveCart Learn lets us do. Okay, so in ThriveCart Learn Plus, it's actually pretty easy to get a new project and course started. You can have multiple courses in the same project. So if you had like different memberships or different types of programs that you were trying to run, you could do that all in here. So creating a course is as easy as create course. You'd pick the project that you want it in, you name the course. Of course, you have all these like the description and the logo and the profile image and all those things. You get to choose the support contact that you want, and then you can also choose the layout. I'm gonna choose this one just because it's different. Okay, and this is what you get, right? You see a blank slate. If I had chosen things, it would have picked these up. So creating my first module 1, I can also make it so that it's either all students or students that have a specific tag. This does have potential for pathways, but you would have to set up a click the link and then tag, which I could see getting very complicated very fast, and also something that you'd have to keep track of. Okay, so we've got module 1. It's right now in draft form. It's pretty easy to shift things over to publish. You just turn the toggle on. Then under the module, you can drag and drop a lesson. So I name my lesson. I'm going to name this one Brain Dump because this is where I am going to try to put in that lesson, create my lesson. Right now it's for all students, but if I did want to do specific tags, I could try to do path 1 for the lesson. So if I wanted to have this be path 1 and they would click a button in module 1, I could do that. One of the things that was kind of nice about ThriveCart Plus was the options, right? And so this is what the lesson looks like. We have a lot of options here in terms of what we include. So we already have a header in here. I threw in my overview. It doesn't hold the formatting, right? So these were paragraphs. I would have to come back in here and format the paragraphs or the bullet points or whatever it happens to be. I can also drag and drop in video. And so when I click on that, the thing that it does need is actually embed code. So you have to host these somewhere else and then go grab the embed code, not just a link. And I will show you that in a minute. I can also add all kinds of stuff like buttons, and then I would put a URL in here. I can also add HTML, which is nice. I can add some FAQs, which can be helpful if you have a choice that they need to make, or if there are constantly questions that people have about a certain lesson, you can pull those into an FAQ, which is really nice. Something that is missing is kind of that educational tools piece, right? There's no quiz option, there's no place to turn things in. So you will have to build that out separately. What I'm going to do is, instead of continuing to build in here, I think you get an idea of how easy it is to drag and drop things and add things. I'm going to go show you what I tried to build. Okay, so this is the space where I have already been working. I am going to show you what the preview view looks like. So this is, you can see what it's supposed to look like for students. And then I'm going to go back and show you the edit view. Okay, so this is what I have built out. I have actually built out a couple of different options because I have a couple different questions that we're trying to ask here, right? And so the first question I kind of have already answered. The question is whether or not I can track something other than videos and clicking complete to see whether or not folks are actually doing the work that I'm asking them to do. And the answer for this one is no. I did jump into where you can, so I can view my students and then I can view each student's individual profile. And I do get to see the 16% completion because I've already been in there and clicking on things. And that's it, right? The only thing that I have done in there is watch some videos. And actually, I think I just clicked complete. I don't even think I completely watched the video. So you could just click complete all the way through and not even attempt to do anything in the course. Okay, so I am back in the course building space. I can set it up to drip. If I'm going to set up my pathways, I won't really be able to do that. So I'm going to show you what I've done. I created the start here. So I sort of started to build that in the other section too. And so I've got the overview, I've got the video that I didn't add there either, and then pick a path, right? And so for my course, I want them to pick a path. Now, what I did do here, because each individual page can become a link, I did make this so that you could, from here, go and click on the other things. I'm going to go show you what that looks like from the student's perspective. Okay, so as a student, this is my dashboard. All of my courses would show up here. So I'm going to click into Course Maker. We see that I've got the overview, and let's say I've already done something. That's where I want to go. It does open in a new page. You can see it popped me down to path 3. It is similar. It's empty on purpose. It's not broken. It is similar to other platforms that I have looked at, in that if there's no like clicking of complete, you don't get the checkbox. And so that's just something that you would need to make sure folks are aware of. And so while it's not inherently built into the platform is flexible enough that you could do a creative workaround. So I do have a couple of other creative workarounds to show you. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into path 1, lots of experience. So I did go ahead and put the videos in here. So this is how you can lay it out, which is nice. And then I have a feedback request in my course, and so I did pull that in, and this is where they would actually put any of their brain dump questions. And so you can have the external kind of reporting. So for me, this is a form that they fill out and it goes to a spreadsheet, and that's how you can track things. I also do have like a Google Doc workbook for them to do the work themselves. And so this is, how you want folks to move through the pathways will determine how you structure it. So I made this module 1 jumpstart brain dumping. My module 2 would be the looking backwards. Now, if I wanted module 1 to just be jumpstart, I could do that. And then my step 1 would be the brain dumping. And something that I did do in here is try to build the pathways in directly into a single lesson. Now, it was not something like I had to use HTML in order to do that because there's no way to really set up anchors. And so from my view, this custom HTML is an anchor for path 1. And I'm going to go show you what that looks like on the student end. So from the designer side of things, it is a little bit more complicated because there's other things. Now, in order to get around the Google Doc thing and have like other space to put in here, that HTML, if you know how to use it, can actually be really useful. And again, you can't see it here, but in the preview and in the student view, you'll be able to see the thing. So I did try or make an attempt to build out the pathways in a single lesson. It's not easy or intuitive. And I still am seeing all the other lesson pieces, right? There's no way to kind of hide it unless we start to get into the advanced tagging. If you're having them click on a link at the beginning, you're going to want to give them access to the other possibilities or the other pathways in other steps of the course. Okay, so I'm going to show you what all that kind of gobbledygook and HTML lines look like on the student end of things. So that was down here in my step 1 brain dumping. So this is what we would see when I click on, I'm going to go ahead and click on path 2 so you can actually see it pop down. So it does bring me directly down to path 2. This is how my Google Doc functions. And so they're still seeing everything. That other HTML block, this was just an HTML that I built to show you that there could be places and spaces where they turn things in. If they do this here, it does kind of disappear. You get it on your end of things. You could build the HTML code so that it does send them something after they've filled it out here. But that is starting to get into things that are more complex. So there is the opportunity, if you know what you're doing, to build out things that do look and smell like pathways for students in ThriveCart Learn Plus. but it is not easy to do on the designer side. And so this is a conditional pass. There are ways to do it. You just have to be creative. Which brings me to question number 3. If you're going to have a course that is mostly like watch the video and do the thing, it depends on where the thing is. And so reducing friction for students is reducing click steps, but also making it easy to do the action, right? And so if I read this and I'm like, okay, well, I've been doing one-on-one work, membership's my next step, and then I have a video and a task to do in here. Embedding the task in here is pretty critical for passing the third one, right? Like we don't want them to have to click out anymore. So again, this is a conditional because can you do it? Yes. Is it easy for you? No. Okay, because I did go in and click complete on a bunch of things, but did not watch a single video, I did want to come show you that the completion is 50%. So again, if you want to be able to track things or be able to give feedback on things, it does require some sort of external mechanism. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and run Successible, the accessibility checker, on the kind of course developer side of things. So again, Successible is up in my browser. There are a lot of issues it found. Okay, so it found 46 issues and every single one of them is an issue with ThriveCart Learn. So when I click on here, it's all of the images that are missing alt text. And so it's this little stopwatch down in the corner. It is the rocket ship up at the top. And then it is, let me move this, the little stopwatch up in the upper right-hand corner. Those are not things that I can control. Poor color contrast, 39 elements. So I did already literally click on all of these things, but I do want to show you what it looks like. You know, I can click on the element that I want to check and it will take me and pop a box around where there's poor color contrast. It's literally everything on this page with the exception of the next button and then my own icon here. Everything else is popping up as low contrast. And then lastly, we have some skipped heading levels. And these again are things that are in the platform itself as opposed to things that I can control. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and try this out on one of the lesson building pages as well. So I've already run Successible. It's got 2 alt text issues and they're both baked into the platform, but this second one I am gonna go see if I can fix it because it is saying the image. I didn't upload my own photo, but I am gonna go take a look and see if I can add alt text to my photo. And then all of the poor color contrast ones, again, these are all part of the system itself. The only one that I can change is button 1, which is this feedback button down here. I can click on that and I can change the colors. Okay, so I did go ahead and make this button my own brand colors and I changed the font to something closer to what my brand fonts are. And then I reran the accessibility report. So you can see that button 1 disappeared from the list. So that button is no longer a problem, but all of these other text elements are things that are part of the platform that I cannot control. Okay, so I did go ahead and check and I can upload an image, but it doesn't let me add the alt text to it. All right, so now I'm going to take a quick look at the learner view for this, and I'm going to run an accessibility check. Okay, so there are 5 issues, and they are all ones that I can't control. So the image issues are around whatever the student profile picture is, and then my profile picture, and then the poor color contrast are all in the navigation bar for the course. So I do always have to ask the fit question before I give any kind of score on anything. So are you choosing ThriveCart Learn because it's actually serving your learners and helping you do the things that you want to do for them? Or is it because you already have access to it, right? And that's a valid question. And if the answer is because I already have access to it, that's okay too. It's just you still want to go and plan out what you want, right? And what the course should be. And then fit it into, be creative and fit it into what you have. Okay, so ThriveCart Learn does genuinely have some good features. On question 1, whether or not you can track something other than watching videos, it failed that, right? You can't even track watching videos. You can just track whether or not they hit that complete button. For question 2 is about the pathways. There are ways to creatively set up pathways. I did go and try to test out the tagging feature. So if in theory you had someone come in and they already know the path and you don't want them veering from it, you could tag them at the get-go. That does look to be a manual process, though I'm sure you could create something on the back end where things talk to each other and they just got automatically tagged. But that would require still some sort of onboarding survey. Like I have one of those that tells you what they need to go do. And then the third one is friction. So question 2 is a conditional pass. The third one is also a conditional pass because sometimes it will depend on how you structure those pathways and the fact that there's no actual learning tool that makes it difficult to actually put things in there, right? There are going to just be more click steps inherently because it's not native to the tool. Another thing that isn't really in my question set, because those questions are largely about the learners, in order to do any of the things that are more advanced, you do need to kind of understand HTML and be able to build things separately. Adding videos does require you being able to go grab the embed code from wherever you're hosting it, whether that's YouTube, Vimeo, wherever. You need to be able to go grab the embed code and not just the link. So it is kind of overall a little bit more advanced if you want to create a course that is most helpful to students. So potential there, but more work for you, right? And so that's a decision that you'll have to come to. Hopefully this helps you do that. If you liked this breakdown and you want some of it in your inbox, subscribe to my newsletter, Cut the Crap. Link is in the description. So same lesson, same 3 steps. If it's not there, it'll be there next week.